What else could you do?
I think, it's funny. I think asking the right questions without making it look like I'm moving, like engaging the right people. I mean, when it's all said and done, reality is that I think the best information I usually get about the future of healthcare is never going to come from HTA, but then people within HTA, because I wouldn't say their heads in the sand. Some people's heads are definitely in the sand, but I think everybody within HTA has a certain level of like, yeah, we're just, I'll tell you what HTA is going to do. I can't really tell you anything other than that, and we all know that.
Right.
And for me, that's my biggest frustration. Is like, I know, I mean, that's why I want to kind of move away from that. So really, in my world, in my current environment, the number one people who can tell me what future healthcare looks like are the physicians. So
physicians.
And so like Gary came to me and said, "Listen, I'd love to have you run OCC." Pleasant thing to say, but I'm not going to do it. That kind of thing is in Hawks. He's always said stuff like this. Not that I run a limited practice, but they know people, they know things, they're being sold to nonstop. And luckily for me, I've got the relationship with these doctors who I can ask them for things versus me trying to sell stuff to them and just start picking their brain. And
so, have you done that at all?
Yeah, because I tiptoe around it because I don't want the doctors to go say, "Yeah, Mitch is asking about the next step in his career," and I think I can do it in a way.
You're not
upsetting
doing this. You're not upsetting anyone. You're meeting and you're networking.
Yep.
Right?
Totally. And I think I've even got, I'll be honest, in the last 3 months, I've kind of gone on a little more to leverage my relationships. I think it's always like a certain level of earnestness, like, Dr. August, what do you need to do tomorrow? I'll do it. And that's, for 5 years I've done that, which has built the foundation of me being able to finally ask a question, which is, if this goes away tomorrow, like, what do you do? What do you think would be a good opportunity for me? And, there's certain doctors I trust that I would ask that for, and I've already started doing a little bit.
I mean, you're in a different place than you were last year and the year before. Now you have 2 kids, you're married, you have a house.
Yep.
So you're doing, who wouldn't want you to do what's right for you?
Exactly, and I think
it's we're putting this in the
cryogenic sealed box.
It's right. Yeah. So there's no reason. You're not doing you're just.
That's a good point. And I think I'm becoming more and more honest with myself and less and less. And I don't say less and less loyal, less and less timid, I would say. I always worked, I'll be honest with you, 5 years I worked at Rose with the understanding that I need to prove myself. I still have that to a certain degree, but I still like to feel like I prove myself. Back to our original meeting when I explained my background, to a certain degree, Mike Snyder said it to me one day. You're an outsider. Like, listen, everybody works in a hospital, especially in a big city hospital like ours. They don't come from a farm Montana. They don't come from an opportunity that you moved here and unsighted. I'm not saying I did it on my own. I'm just saying it's different than most people's path. That we're working in a hospital. Like I can tell you work with a certain level of I'm an outsider, needing to prove myself. And he's right. Actually, when he said that to me, stuck in a parking or in a interstate traffic jam for 3 hours. It was like, oh, you're actually kind of right. I guess I never thought of it that way. And I think I've always worked at that level of like I got to prove myself. And I think those days are kind of over. I don't need to prove myself anymore. I don't think. That actually
you can take a deep breath,
utilize what I've learned. Be seen as somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
Pat yourself on the back
for a second, and really just leverage that into Dr. X. We know what's happening in the hospital per you, and I get it. We know what's happening in healthcare per you and me. What do you think would be a good opportunity for you? What's the future look like? And in their answers, oftentimes what they want, what they think I could do. And I don't even make it about me, about everything.
Right.
Oftentimes, if you get them opening up, you're actually happy oftentimes to tell you what they think. So that's another avenue I think I can tap quickly. And everything I think from a doctor is a grain of salt, especially when it comes to the industry. But it's at least an opportunity to inroads. And, beyond that, it's a really good question. I mean, I'm stuck in between, like, give me your resume and we'll see what happens to, like, let's work together kind of thing. And I want to get away from, like, take your resume, we'll review again, have a recruiter call you, we'll take a test. Like, that kind of stuff is different than I'm looking for, which is like somebody calls and says, hey, I got a really cool idea. What do this is going to happen, and we'd love to use your expertise and all of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's where I don't know how to get there. I'll be perfectly honest with you. That's one of the biggest reasons that I got is even people with a division of HCA have no idea what I do. Like I put together this plan for Monday when we meet with Tandy sometime and then call home and everybody, and it's going to be like, who are you again? I'm like, yeah, I'm the one that asks all the questions about who's monitoring our payer costs for orthopedics. Oh, don't worry about it with that. I'm like, nobody knows who I am, and that's perfectly fine. That's by design. So,
Mitch, if you were to knock on the door, walk in your house, and talk to your wife, who is a social media, internet expert, and say, I heard that you're really good at this. Could you give me some advice on connecting my career through social media? What would she tell you?
That's a good question. She would tell me to keep up my profile.
On LinkedIn. Yep. Okay, so what do you think about that?
I haven't done that. The next thing she would do is make your resume proactively put your profile online. You don't have to necessarily send it to anybody, but if your profile is up to date, your resume is available, your CV is readily available for anybody looking for something, do that. And you're 100% right. I just need to get that done. And I think beyond that, it's utilize that. I always think it's kind of cheap, but I think there's avenues of putting myself out there. I think and random email to people. It's funny. I got an email from the president of Carroll College where I went to school. Small school, but the president sent some email to all his moms about something. Anyway, what he said is 100% right. The school I went to got too expensive for Montana natives. They started enrolling nothing but Portland and Seattle natives, and that was different when I went there. When I went there, there was a lot of Montana kids, farm kids. And he said, I'm new. I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm committed to making Montana students a priority. So I responded. I said, I sincerely appreciate that. It's something I talked to the previous administration laughed at me and said, had a fundraiser right over here. And so I decided to appreciate that. And I would have never sent that.
Nice.
And I immediately responded. He's like, I'm coming to Denver in 3 weeks, or I want to take you out to lunch. I mean, he probably hit me up for money, but it was like an email. I was like, I would have never done that because I didn't think I had a clout to do it. And I was like, no, I'll do it. And stuff like that I should be doing more often. Trust my knowledge, trust my intellect. And
so how can you make it so you know that he's going to ask you for money or you? Yeah. Okay, so how can you make it a win-win?
Right, and I think that's where when I would sit down with him, and part of it is I'm listening. I would leverage what I think about. That's the thing about me. I'm getting very specific, like X, Y, and Z. I think that's what took it back. Like, actually, you were actually thought of these ideas, and I think when I meet with him, I would have it even outline more of what I would like to do, what I think he could do, and how I'd like to be involved, how I could help, and leverage my experience and connections, and really, probably play the game more than I would be willing to 6 months ago. If he's willing to come and have lunch with me, I probably would write him a check. Like that kind of stuff. And I think that's another thing I need to realize is sometimes you'll make it about yourself entirely. Provide value literally by writing a check. But even if I were, join a board somewhere or, become involved in different causes, that's one thing I really want to do. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I really want to get involved in something. Not just for my own career, but we tried to do it with a few different things. And I was on the board of team before. I still am. It's correction king, and politics got involved. And it wasn't anything to do with us. Totally, and then it moved. And that sucks. But I really want to get involved with something because I think I have an opportunity to share my talents, so to speak, something like that. And that's the same kind of concept with that guy. I could share my talents for the good of everything and give a little to get a little.
So really, Mitch, you started out with social media or what am I going to do to network? Well, I'll join the healthcare executive, but I don't know if it's the right people. Okay, but we haven't been to a meeting yet. That's really a great step for you. The social media, your wife is saying, update your LinkedIn, work on your resume. I think those are phenomenal ideas for you. And then realistically, the school, this could be really rewarding. What if he says, we want you to interview candidates for the school?
Yep.
That'd be